Hey, good evening, folks. Blitzball Champ is here with a new video here on the U to the 2. Okay, so just wanted to talk a few things Carolina Panthers related. There were a few updates that took place that I kind of wanted to share and also give my thoughts on. So, first, which here, let me pull this up. So first, which this is kind of a minor one, which I felt like was obvious because I had mentioned this in the previous video I did. Carolina Panthers did indeed sign J.J. Jansen to a one-year deal to stay with the team as the long snapper. And like I said, that should be no surprise. He's been very consistent since his time there and definitely shows no signs of slowing down or anything of that matter. So, I mean, this is a pretty easy done deal, but no one should be surprised at this. But I mean, I feel I might as well just mention it, but it's kind of a minor thing. But yeah, Panthers re-signed long snapper J.J. Jansen to a one-year deal. So, yeah, he's been with the team since 09, and he's been consistent. It's been very consistent. So good for him. Next up, and I'll put a link to the description in the description box for this one. So, Carolina Panthers are restructuring the deals of Christian McCaffrey and Shaq Thompson. Excuse me. And according to this, here, let me pull this up. So, according to this, this is a move that clears about $11 million in cap space. So they saved $5.6 million with McCaffrey. And what they ended up doing with McCaffrey is they converted his 2021 base salary of $8 million into a signing bonus. So they shift that around. Because remember, originally, Christian McCaffrey's contract extension that he had signed was 4 years, $64 million. Which would run about a $16 million pay a year. So they save $5.6 million in space on McCaffrey, and then $6.126 million on Shaq Thompson, because Shaq Thompson also had a 4-year extension, which was worth $54.2 million. So what they did with Shaq's base salary of $10 million, they reduced it to $990,000, and then converted the rest to a sign bonus. So yeah, ultimately, in total, this clears $11 million in cap space. So with this, plus the fact that they had the $18.5 million in cap space after they used the franchise tag on Taylor Moton, so that was made official. So so now the team's total cap space is to about more than $30 million. So here's the thing, though. It sounds like still don't expect to see huge moves made in free agency. I guess that's what the deal is. There's been talks with Coach Matt Rule, general manager Scott Fitterer. It looks like the main objectives overall is to really target the essential needs of the team. And when you look at targets as far as, I guess, free agency, cornerback, left tackle, just like offensive line in general, maybe tight end, and then quarterback. But yeah. So if anything, they got a little bit more in cap space, but I mean, I kind of see what they're saying. Don't really expect a whole lot of big moves, and and I agree that when it comes down to it, as long as the main key needs are fulfilled, then I feel like that's something that can be worked with. I think that's something that can be worked with. Okay. Couple of other things I wanted to mention. Because today they recently had their like a hour or so ago, had press conferences. Matt Rule had a press conference. Scott Fitterer also contributed as well. So one of the things that was mentioned was Scott Fitterer was shed some light on the whole situation with the attempted trade of Teddy Bridgewater to the Lions to try to get Matthew Stafford. It was mentioned, David Newton wrote about it. He said, and I quote, Panthers GM Scott Fitterer said he and coach Matt Rule talked to quarterback Teddy Bridgewater about the reports involving him in a trade. He didn't mention which one, but the offer to Detroit for Matthew Stafford was the most prominent. Fitterer said they acknowledged we had talked to another team. As far as he's concerned now, Teddy is our quarterback. Okay. Now, in hearing that, if this is the conclusion that Scott Fitterer and Matt Rule have come to, I really think ultimately we might as well ditch the plan to try to get Deshaun Watson and just draft a quarterback in the draft. Which leads me into, the next part of this video with Deshaun Watson. Now, what I'm about to say, please correct me if I am wrong. If this is totally not true, let me know. But this has been a lot of what I've been hearing, especially among other Panther fans as well. And just, others have been more in the mix than me. But this is what I've been hearing as far as the idea behind what it would take to get Deshaun Watson. I'm hearing that discussion of potentially Carolina giving up literally two draft classes of picks. And I guess if the whole idea is still like one or two young players as well, that plus that, all for Deshaun Watson. We really, if this is the case, please tell me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if this is just, rumors or whatnot. Please tell me if I'm wrong. But if I'm not, I'm sorry, but we have to really, really double, triple, quadruple check this whole idea. Like, it sounds extremely desperate. Extremely desperate. 2 draft classes of picks and potentially 2 young players, whether it's on defense or offense, whatever, but 2, 2 decent to good players for one guy? Honestly, I really feel like best course of action, look to the draft for a quarterback. Because already, with what Mr. Fitterer and Coach Rule are saying, I mean, I think that just about pretty much seals, unless something just drastically comes up and changes, but that right there pretty much seals that Teddy will be a Carolina Panther next season. Now, here's the other thing. In drafting a quarterback, out of who you all feel would be available, regardless of whether it's at the 8 pick or if we trade up, do you honestly feel that no matter, like, if we get the best guy that we can get at quarterback, that he will be ready and good enough to start week 1? Week 1 regular season, that is. Are you that confident in that? That's another thing to think about. I mean, Deshaun Watson, definitely a different story. I mean, he's a starting quarterback, of course. But it's looking like what is going to end up happening is, I'm sure Deshaun Watson, if he does indeed stay in Houston, is probably going to hold out. Probably not going to take a single snap. But here's the thing, though. Like, it'll be really difficult to go all in on this Deshaun Watson and then have the necessary draft capital to improve the team in the future. Because one thing I did notice, and shout out to Big Cat and Twandon and Ray Palbone, 704 Charlotte, all those guys that was in Big Cat's most recent stream about free agency plans of the Carolina Panthers. Really good video. Got a chance to check that out. But Twandon made a really, really good point that stuck out to me. Carolina Panthers lately have a history of, one, getting players, evolving them, and then ditching them, or getting players, don't work out too well, and then ditching them. And he's right. He's actually right. Look at Mario Addison. Star Latulele. Even Julius Peppers before he came back, before he returned. There's many. And it just makes me think, like, really, really wonder and think, do folks even want to come play for the Carolina Panthers? I mean, we haven't been a contender in a number of years. Like, Do we honestly really think that these players that, want to be traded, that want to go elsewhere, have Carolina on their list? I'm not going to say yes, I'm not going to say no, but it's something to think about. Just given the history of how we've done with players. So, I feel a little bit better with the restructuring of Christian McCaffrey's contract, that it looks like, we are not going to be getting rid of him, especially nowhere anytime soon. Um, but and I know it doesn't, the whole Deshaun Watson idea, nothing's been settled yet because there's still a lot of time. Like, it seems like Carolina's been very quiet lately. Not a lot of big news. But just looking at a lot of what I'm hearing about the idea behind what going all in looks like for Carolina to get Deshaun Watson, like, for the future's sake, is it worth it? And another thing that was mentioned in Big Cat Stream. Ask yourself this question. Could you confidently, 100% confidently say that if we do land Deshaun Watson, you can guarantee we make the playoffs in this upcoming season? If we get Deshaun Watson, are you willing to guarantee that the Carolina Panthers make the playoffs? Regardless of whether it's win the division or wild card. Either or. Division or wild card. Could you honestly, 100% confidently guarantee that with Deshaun Watson, like, just getting him? Because realistically, if something like this goes through afterwards, I mean, we have to really wonder what more that we would be able to get and giving up so much for this one player. Would we make the playoffs in the upcoming season? Hands down. So, something to think about. Because, like I said, we got some big holes in the offensive line. Like I said, I'm not too worried about Curtis Samuel because I think the free agency class with receivers and the draft class is pretty hot. So, not too concerned with that. D line, yeah, need depth. Linebacker, concern. Probably one of the bigger concerns on defense. Um, Cornerbacks, safeties, like, there's plenty of holes to fill. And I just feel like, getting rid of so much for one guy makes it harder to fill those other roles. The only time I would feel that it wouldn't be such a big deal is if Carolina was just a quarterback away. But they're not. Plain and simple as that. So, I mean, it's another thing you also have to think about. It's really looking like as well that we are going to have Teddy Bridgewater as quarterback next season. Because you also have to imagine, even if we do put Teddy Bridgewater in a trade package, who honestly really would want Teddy Bridgewater? I'm just being honest. What team out there do you honestly feel would want Teddy Bridgewater? Especially after a season where he went 0-8. So there's a lot of different variables with this. But I think my honest thoughts is we're really going to go for a quarterback. Let's go in the draft. If we really got to go for a quarterback, let's go for a draft. Is not to look down on Deshaun Watson, but if, like I said, if 2 draft classes worth of picks, which I don't even know if that's possible or not. Like I said, I could be wrong. I'm only going by what's been shared with me and what I've heard amongst other Panthers fans. But if that's honestly what it's going to take for one player, if they're that desperate, just hope it doesn't come back and bite us. 3 seasons. And that's being generous. That's me being generous. 3 seasons. 3 seasons. And then it makes me wonder, like, what we'll be able to get in the midst of those 3 seasons if it takes that long. So that's all I really have. Like I said, I'll put these articles in the description box, but let me know what y'all think. I know that the restructuring of Shaq and CMac's contracts help with cap space, so that's cool. Getting JJ Jansen back on here, minor, but cool. And just, with what's been talked about with Scott Fitterer and Matt Rule about the discussion with Teddy Bridgewater and just how they're moving forward with him. Of course, like I said, anything can happen, anything can change, but the whole Deshaun Watson trade. Only thing I suggest is really reevaluate this and really give this a good thought, especially if what I've been told is accurate. Like I said, please correct me if that's not, but it's scary. It's scary. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Click the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thank you for watching. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram signing off. Everybody have a blessed day, and I will see y'all soon. Laters.